नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम।
जय जय शंकर हर हर शंकर।
शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः।
Namaste children, namaste parents. So I'm very happy once again to meet you all here again. So we are all assembled here to hear the story of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. See, all of us should have, done so much of punyam to hear the stories of our acharyas, isn't it? So, as usual, we will start with a prayer. Okay. Om Shuklam Bardaram Vishnu Shivaranam Chadurbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Bashantaye. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Sarva Lokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhiye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. தென்னாடுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜ்ஞா சர்வவ்யாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாயப் பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவா அடி போற்றி. Okay, so actually in the last session we have seen about the lineage or the Guru Parampara of Advaita Guru Parampara, isn't it? Last time we have seen the Advaita Guru Parampara. Can anybody just say the Parampara? Can anybody? Who is the first Guru? Who is the first Guru of our Guru Parampara?
Mahavishnu.
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 And
Mahavishnu.
Then? And then?
Brahma. Brahma.
Then Brahma. Next Vashishta, isn't it? Vashishta. Then
Shakti.
Then
Parashara.
Then
Vyasa.
Good.
Vyasa.
And then
Gaudapala. Shuka.
Shukar. Then Gaudapada.
Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya.
Then
Adi Shankaracharya.
Adi Shankaracharya. Very good. Now you all caught it. Okay. Yeah, very good. Very nice. And now, we have seen all the Guru Paramparas last time, isn't it? But we have kept that Adi Shankara before. We have seen the previous session, the birth of Adi Shankara and how he was raised and what happened in his early years, how he got his initial studies and all, isn't it? So now Adi Shankara got permission from his mother to become a sannyasi, to renounce, to become a sannyasi, to take up the life of renunciation. He got the permission from his mother. Now he is coming in search of the Guru. So we stopped there, isn't it? And afterwards we started the Guru Parampara, isn't it? So after that, what happened is he traveled 10 months. He traveled 10 months by walk. He was traveling from Kaladi Kshetra, where he was born, isn't it? From Kaladi to Narmada River. Narmada River near the banks of Narmada. Omkareshwar, like near Omkareshwar, near the banks of Narmada, he walked and walked in search of his Guru. He knows who is his Guru, and his Guru also knows who is going to come. But even then, he walked in search of Guru. To seeking his Guru, he walked. So he went there. Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya was already there inside the cave inside a cave near the Narmada River, isn't it? So he was inside the cave, he was sitting there. He was waiting. He was actually waiting for his Shishya to come. He was waiting for Adi Shankaracharya. So he was waiting there eagerly. But inside the cave, he was sitting. He was all seer. He was a divine person. He was a sage. You know about, we have talked about Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya, isn't it? So he was waiting there. Now he reached. Who reached? Adi Shankaracharya reached. Adi Shankara now reached the banks of Narmada river, and he went to the hermitage of Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya. First, what he did was he circumambulated. He knows that there is a guru, that his guru is inside the cave, you know. So he circumambulated the cave. Circumambulated means he did that pradachanam. You all know pradachanam, no? We all go to the temple, we do pradakshanas, isn't it? Like that, he did. So he circumambulated. He pradachanam. He did pradachanam to the cave. He did circumambulated the cave, and he prostrated in front of the cave because his guru is inside. And he started praising his guru. He was talking about how he was Adishesha once, isn't it? How he brought this knowledge to us and all. He was praising, hearing all the verses of Adi Shankaracharya. He was inside. Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya was inside, no? Hearing all this thing, he came outside. He asked from inside, who are you? Who are you? For that question, Adi Shankaracharya beautifully he has composed. At once he composed one satakam called Nirvana Satakam. It's a beautiful composition of Adi Shankaracharya. That is, he is describing who he is. In that Satakam, that is in that Nirvana Shatakam, its name is Nirvana Shatakam. And in that Adi Shankara, he explains like, I am neither the 5 elements. I am neither the 5 elements. What are all the 5 elements? I'm not the fire. I'm not the earth. I'm not the space. I'm not the water. And I'm not the air. See, these are all the 5 elements of which this body is made up of. This body is made up of all the 5 elements, isn't it? And all the creations are made up of all these 5 elements. So I am neither these 5 elements. And I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. Okay? I'm not the intellect or any of them or any of these. I am the pure substratum. Means I am the pure consciousness. I am the pure consciousness of the substratum of the creation, of the pure conscious, Satchit Ananda. That means Satchidanandam. That means what? Shiva. You can easily remember Shiva, isn't it? Shiva is a pure consciousness. So I am Shiva. So hearing this reply, he was inside, no? Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya was sitting inside the cave. So hearing this reply, so full of wisdom, no? It's full of wisdom. He doesn't say his name. When he asks, who are you? He doesn't say his name. So he is all talking about all these things, no? So hearing about his wisdom, full of wisdom, the highest wisdom. So now Govinda Bhagavad Pada, he said, he recognized him. And he said, because he has a divine vision also. So he could realize, he could recognize him. So he has come to the earth. He also that he has come to the earth to re-establish the Dharma, re-establish the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, isn't it? So he accepted Shankara as his disciple now. Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya accepted him as his disciple. And when Shankara was accepted as a disciple, what he did was, he did Pada Puja. We always do Pada Puja to our Periva, isn't it? Most of you know that we all do Pada Puja to Periva, because we have to show our, devotion to Periva. We have to show our devotion. So that is the tradition. That is the tradition. So he did Pada Puja to Periva, means Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya, because he is his guru, isn't it? So he did that. So here you can ask me one question, like, see, the Adi Shankaracharya is already a realized soul, isn't it? Already a realized soul. Already he has got all the wisdom and all. So, but still he needs a master. He needs a master or guru, isn't it? He needs a master or guru Because the scriptures say that even though you are born as a wisdom, even though you are born as a fully realized soul, or everything, the truth, you have to have a guru or an instructor to instruct you. That is our tradition. That is the tradition. So Adi Shankara follows this tradition. So now he got his guru. He got initiated as Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya from Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya. So because the guru imparts the Brahmanyanam. Brahmanyanam is a supreme jnanam. It's a supreme jnanam. So guru taught him Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam. See, I am going to tell you some, actually a little bit a hard subject. You don't have to, I'll give you a small glimpse of it, okay? You should all know about it. So there are 4 Vedas. There are 4 Vedas in our Hindu philosophy. There are 4 Vedas. Rig Vedam, Sama Vedam, Yajur Vedam, and Atharvana Vedam. There are 4 Vedas. So the culmination, see, end of each Veda, after studying all the Vedas, the culmination of the knowledge of the Vedas is called the Upanishads. It's called the Upanishads. Upanishads are called Vedantam. Vedam, Antam. Veda means Antam means end of the Veda. You got that? Upanishads. Vedantam. That's called Vedantam. In each Vedam, there is one Mahavakyam. So that will be told by Guru to the disciple to initiate him into the sannyasi. Right? So each Vedam has got its Mahavakyam. The first Mahavakyam is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma means the awakened consciousness is the supreme consciousness. That is called the first Prajnanam Brahma. Second one is Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi is I am that consciousness. I am that Brahma. And the realization, that's the realization. Okay, I am that. And third one is Tattvam Asi. Thou art that. That means you are that. The Guru gives the realization. Guru gives the experience. So you are that. And the fourth one is I am Atma. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma means the self. Thus the self in me is a supreme consciousness. Okay. After that, he was taught all the Brahma Sutrams written by Veda Vyasa himself. Veda Vyasa is the supreme Guru, isn't it? So it was done by Veda Vyasa himself, Brahma Sutra. So he taught that. And he taught all the Bhagavad Gitas. And see, all these things, I just want you to just know about it. You don't have to go into details, but you should know. I was talking about the supreme knowledge, truth and all, isn't it? But what is that truth? What is that? You don't have to go and dwell into it. You don't have to understand that, but just as such, you should have to know what it is. Okay. So I'll tell you, actually, when he was living with Govinda Bhagavad Pada, now he got initiated into Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. Now he became Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya. After Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya, he was under the tutelage of Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya. He was living in the cave. He was doing all this thing. He was doing meditation with them, along with Govinda Bhagavad Pada and all. When he was with Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya, one time what happened was monsoon started. Okay. So it becomes, during the monsoon time, it was a monsoon time. It started to rain heavily, very, very torrential rain. So much of storms, so much of storms, winds were blowing heavily, and trees were all uprooted. And were getting, by that time the more rain, torrential rain was there. Very much storm was there. And it was raining continuously for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 5 days it was running, it was raining continuously. Actually, Lord Indra is the god of rain, is the Devata of rain. So he is responsible for this rain. Okay, he made it rain so heavily. And what happened was, it was flooded. It was all flooded. Nearby villages were all drowned. People were all screaming. They're all crying because of fear, because they are all scared because of this heavy rain and torrential rains, people got scared and they were all crying out of fear. See, now Adi Shankar Bhagavad Acharya, he was sitting and meditating, isn't it? When he was sitting and meditating, he heard all the people who are all crying and, with all scared, they were all getting scared and they were all screaming like anything. He heard that. See, he was very, very compassionate. Our gurus are all very compassionate. So what happened is, to protect everybody, what happened? He placed the Kamandalam. He placed the Kamandalam. Kamandalam, see, I've got this one for you. See, this is, Kamandalam will be like this. It's a small thing. Huh? They will be having like this, the Kamandalam. Okay. What happened is, it's a water jug. It's a water pot. It's a kind of water pot, which the sannyasis used to carry, the Kamandalam. Even you can see Periva carrying Kamandalam with him. Okay. So what happened? He kept that Kamandalam in front of the cave. And he chanted a very powerful mantra. And with the power of that mantra, what happened is, all the flood waters, the banks of river Narmada went and disappeared inside the Kamandalam, inside that water pot. It got disappeared. So after seeing, everybody was very happy. The nearby village people very, very happy, and everybody were very happy seeing that. And seeing all these things, Govinda Bhagavad Acharya was very pleased. Because when the students show interest, when the students were studying well, teachers will be automatically interested, isn't it? So Govinda Bhagavad Acharya was very, very pleased to see. He said, I know you are able, he is saying to Bhagavad Acharya, means Adi Shankara. Govinda Bhagavad Acharya was saying to Adi Shankara, he is saying, just as you are able to contain all the knowledge, it means all the flood, whole water, river, water, inside the water pot, I know you are able to contain all the knowledge of Vedas and compress its essence into your writings and teachings. So you are capable of doing that. I know you have got infinite capacity, isn't it? I know you have got infinite capacity because the Vedas, Vedantas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, everything you did, within few months, he learned everything. He became master. He became a master of everything, Adi Shankara. So I know it was alive in you now. It was all the knowledge was alive in you, and you have the ability to distill it. You have the ability to distill it and make it available to the people. Isn't it? Make it available, make them to understand. Now it is the time. Now you have to go. You have to part with me. And you have to go to Kashi. Kashi, Kashi, Banaras, Varanasi is all same. Okay? There is a place, holy place called Kashi, Banaras or Varanasi. Whichever name you can say. It's a holy place. And in India, so you have to go there and you have to work on that. Now you have to distill all your knowledge, all your Vedas, Vedantas, whatever it is, and you have to compile it. You have to make it available to the people. That's what Govinda Bhagavad Acharya. Now it's a time you have to go. But Adi Shankaracharya felt very, very, sad because he has been with the Guru and he doesn't want to, go away from Guru. He felt very bad. He said that I don't want to go away from you. I want to be with you always. But Guru said, no, you have come and you have come to this place to take the knowledge. Now you got the knowledge and now you have to distribute the knowledge to the people. And that is your mission. Now you have to go. Even I felt very sad. Even I feel very sad. I feel very sad parting with you, but it is the time that you have to go to Kashi. You have to work on these things. So getting the blessings. He got the blessings of his Guru, Govinda Bhagavad Acharya. He got the blessings of his Guru and now he reached Varanasi. Varanasi is nothing but Kasi. So staying in Kasi, staying in Kashi, he is sharing his knowledge. He is sharing his knowledge with the learned people, the scholars who are coming to him. So Adi Shankara now he is living in Kashi. He is living in Banaras now, staying somewhere near Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanatha temple. There is a temple called Kashi Vishwanatha temple, Mahadev temple. Okay, so he is living, staying there near that Ganges river, and there is a Ganges river, holy river flowing there, and he is staying there near the Ganges river, near the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now people used to come, lot of people used to come, scholars used to approach him, because they would discuss all with him, and they would ask him for advice. So many scholars, they asked him for advice, and they wanted to share the insights. They have something, no? So they wanted to share the insights with him, debate with him. So many things are happening there. So it is said, this is all happening. So it is said that one day, what happened? A Brahmin boy, a young Brahmin boy, who learned all the Vedic scriptures, approached Adi Shankara, prostrated before him, and he asked Adi Shankara to accept him as his disciple. Okay, he is very, very talented. He's very talented. He's very skillful. The interesting thing is that his prayer is very interesting. Like what happened is, what he says is, he says, "Oh great Guru, oh great Lord, you are very, very well versed in Vedas and Vedantas and scriptures and knowledge. You are all knowledgeable, and you are my Guru. Please accept me as your disciple. Please accept me as your disciple." And he said, "You may think that I'm not worthy. You may think that I'm not worthy to be your disciple. But by doing so, you may lose your reputation. You may lose your reputation." How? Of being one who bestows his grace, on the disciple. See, what happened is, because, see, I will tell you in a simple term, because, you know, you are the one who gives grace, means you are the one to be graceful to everyone. Grace is something, you know, grace is something which does not require any qualification, isn't it? So that's why we pray to God. We don't have any qualification. Some may be very much qualified. Educational qualification we may have. Some may be qualified in so many things, but God will not see any qualifications. God is so graceful. So that is why it is called grace, isn't it? That is why it is called grace. Suppose if you hesitate to accept me, suppose if you delay in accepting me, then your grace is not boundless. See how tricky his prayer is. That's how he prayed to Adi Shankara, this particular disciple. So what he says is, I want to dedicate my whole life in serving you, and my mind, I'm dedicating my mind, my consciousness in learning and sharing your teaching. So please accept me as your disciple. So Adi Shankara here, smilingly, he smiled, and out of his compassion, he said, he hugged him and he accepted as his disciple and gave him the sannyasam, So his name is Sanandanar. His name is Sanandanar, and his name is Sanandanar, and he is his first disciple. So he is his first disciple. Now he became his first disciple. And then what happened? After that, so many people have come to become the disciple of Adi Shankara. So many people were flocking, Adi Shankara, and became his disciples. And they served, because all the people, they wanted to serve and be helpful to him, to fulfill his mission. His mission is to re-establish the dharma, isn't it? So to fulfill his mission, to serve the mankind. So, and to serve the humanity, the whole humanity, by giving the true knowledge, full knowledge, complete knowledge. This is how it was going on. Now, one day, what happened? It was a summertime. It was summertime. It was very hot. And one day, Adi Shankara, along with his disciples, he went to the Ganges river to do his midday rituals. Sandhya Vandanam, isn't it? Midday Madhyanyam. It is called Madhyanyam. So he went there and he wanted to do his midday rituals, prayer. So it was very, very hot. It was very hot and he was going. When they were all coming, he was coming with lot of disciples. Acharya was coming with, Acharya means here Adi Shankaracharya, he was coming with lot of disciples to do the midday prayer. Now on the opposite side, on the opposite direction, a person was coming. Another person was coming. And he was an outcast. He was an untouchable. Chandala. He was called Chandala. So he was walking with 4 dogs. He was coming opposite, in the opposite direction. Some of the disciples, they wanted to, they just went forward. They just went forward and say quickly, oh, quickly, hey, quickly move aside. No, don't come near him and move aside, okay? Our Acharya is coming. Our Paramacharya, our Acharya is coming. So move aside and keep distance. Keep a distance from him, okay? They said like that. So as he's untouchable. He's untouchable means what? He is considered not so pure. He's not so clean. So they thought that Acharya would feel uncomfortable, seeing him and seeing near him. So, but what happened is, and then something interesting happened. Something very interesting happened. When they asked this untouchable person to move aside, he said something, that untouchable person, he replied, and what he said shook everybody. What he said is very interesting thing. He said, hey, you teach everybody the supreme consciousness, the undivided one. Everything is one. That is called the supreme consciousness. Everything is one. Nothing but the universal consciousness. That is called the universal consciousness, the substratum of the creation. You teach this consciousness is unpollutable, supreme, undivided, and everything. Okay. But all the disciples who are coming around you, all dressed like renunciates, like sannyasis, all the sannyasis who are coming around you, all renunciates, all dressed like, renunciates, shaving their head and everything. But they don't have, I didn't see any ray of knowledge inside them. I didn't see any ray of knowledge inside them. See, you are asking to move aside. To whom did you address this? To whom did you address? He is asking, this Chandala, he is that untouchable person. He is asking, to whom did you address this? Whether, see, whom are you asking to move? Whom are you asking to move aside? Tell me, please tell me. Are you addressing this body and mind? Are you addressing this body and mind? This body which is made up of the same 5 elements as your body. My body is also made up of same 5 elements. Okay. And your body is also made up of 5 elements, same 5 elements. Okay. So you say that I am untouchable and you are a Brahmana, but the function of the body is same. Whatever my body is functioning, that is whatever it breathes, it eats, breathes, it sleeps, everything. Same function your body is also doing. And if you are asking my body to move aside, body and mind to move aside, it is only a jadam. Jadam means it don't understand anything. So it can't move. The function and everything is same only. So you are teaching. Where is you are teaching? That is your teaching. Is this your teaching? No. This is not your teaching. This is not your teaching. And so I can't understand. If you are not addressing my body, and if you are addressing my soul, if you are addressing my consciousness or a soul inside me, spirit in me, then the consciousness is untouched. The consciousness is untouched by the body, isn't it? So which resides in, this body is residing inside. The consciousness is everywhere. It is everywhere. So it is pure, eternal. It is everywhere. So it can't move, isn't it? So if you are addressing to the soul, again your knowledge fades. Whatever knowledge you are giving, it fails. So you are not living to what you are saying, isn't it? If you are not living, you are not living to what you are teaching. You are not living to what you are teaching, or you are not walking your talk, isn't it? You are not walking your talk. So having said this, it shook them. It shook them. And the Acharya, Adi Shankaracharya, now he realized that he is not an ordinary Chandala. He is not an ordinary person. He is not an ordinary Chandala, untouchable person. So because he speaks the highest truth, he's moreover, he's pointing out the mistake. He's pointing out the mistake on their perception, isn't it? So the knowledge. So the person, so what he says is, Adi Shankara says, what Adi Shankara says is, anyone who preaches this highest knowledge, or anyone who has realized the highest knowledge, is Guru. So he bowed down to that Chandala. He bowed down to the Chandala. He knows that he is not Chandala. He bowed down to the Chandala, and the untouchable, or the untouchable person, when he raises his head, when he raised his head and saw him, there was no Chandala in front of him. In front of him, there is no, the untouchable person was not there. Maheshwara, the whole Parameshwara himself was standing there. Now, all the 4 dogs have become 4 Vedas. So because Vedas will be with Parameshwara. So all the dogs became Vedas, and Parameshwara, he stood in front of Adi Shankara. Now Adi Shankara prostrated on the legs of Parameshwara. Parameshwara, Adi Shankara fell in his knees, fell in his feet, fell in the feet of Parameshwara, and with full devotion he praised Shiva. And on the spot he wrote Manisha Panchakam. Another one thing is Manisha Panchakam. Manisha Panchakam is a very highest knowledge verse given by Adi Shankaracharya again. And Adi Shankara fell on his feet, and he praised him, praised Shiva, and Shiva also blessed him. Parameshwara also blessed Adi Shankara, and he told that now it is the time you have to write. You have to write commentaries. You have to start writing commentaries on Brahma Sutras. Now he is teaching the Brahma Sutras and all, no? So he wanted to, now it's a time that you have to write the commentaries on Brahma Sutra. This is one incident of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya. He said the commentaries on Brahma Sutra will be praised by all the sages, by all the saints, and even Devas, even Brahma. Even Brahma will praise you when you do all the commentaries to commentaries and the Vedantas, commentaries to Brahma Sutras, Vedantas, and the Upanishads, and all that you need to establish. And for all that you need to establish a disciple, okay, disciples that are capable in different parts of the country, because in order to protect the knowledge, to safeguard the knowledge, they will be the guardian. Okay, they will be the guardian of the Vedic wisdom. So that they will be safeguarding the knowledge. So because that's how the knowledge has come to us. That's how the knowledge has passed one another to us. Okay. So after receiving all the instructions and guidance from Shiva himself, Adi Shankara decided that the time has come. Now the time has come to write the commentary on Brahma Sutras, and he wrote commentaries for Brahma Sutras, Vedantas, and Upanishads. Vedantas, that is Upanishads, principal Upanishads. I'll say what are all the principal Upanishads. Adi Shankara has written the commentary. Okay, it is 10 Upanishads he has written. Isha Upanishad. Okay, Kena Upanishad, Katho Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukyam Upanishad, Aitreya Upanishad, Taittreya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These are all the principal Upanishads. He has written the commentary. He has also written commentary for some other Upanishads also, but these are the principal Upanishads. He has written commentary. These Upanishads, the Upanishads, Brahma Sutram and Bhagavad Gita. All these 3 are called Prashranatrayam. Okay. Prasthanatrayam. Sorry. Prasthanatrayam. It's called Prasthanatrayam. All the three are called. Upanishads are called Shruti Prasthanam. Bhagavad Gita is called Smriti Prasthanam. And Brahma Sutram is called Nyaya Prasthanam. I don't want to give more details about all these things. Just for knowing, you should know the name of these. Okay. These are all the Prasthanatrayams which Bhagavad Gita started teaching. He wrote all the commentaries and started teaching his own teachings to the disciples. I think this session is going a little bit harder, but it's so interesting. You should all know the names of what are. I don't want to give you more about it. I'll give you some interesting stories about how the disciples came to Adi Shankara later on in the next session. Okay, because I don't want to give you a lot of these things only, names only. I'll teach you, I'll tell you all the stories, how the disciples came to, how all the disciples came to Adi Shankaracharya, and that will be more interesting stories. There are all more interesting stories coming. Okay. So we will conclude this session today with Purnamidam, because I have told you a lot of things to remember. So you'll go through all these things, okay, with your parents. Okay, I'll conclude this. And you all should stay, because in order to hear this slogam, okay? After this session, you stay back to hear all the slogams of Adi Shankaracharya. So you should learn all the slogams also, because he has given all the knowledge. And it's our duty to learn all the slogams, because it's see, I have already told you that Bhagavan, God, is always graceful to us. So he will give you all whatever you want. Isn't it? So we'll pray. We'll conclude this session with Purnamadam. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Thank you all. We'll meet again in the next session. Okay? Thank you. Next week we'll meet. Thank you.